So this one, this crotch is way too big. Well, we're here today for another episode of Slaburday Saturday. We have this big silver maple log. Now it's another one. We're always trying to pick out the nice, big, pretty logs for these Slaburday videos. This one is again gonna max out our mill. The crotch spread up here is actually over 3 foot wide. We can only do about 30 inches. So I'm gonna trim this down on the chainsaw first. Looks like we'll get 7 foot long slabs, 7 to 7.5 foot. So on this episode, I really want to kind of teach you guys more than just entertainment, but about logs and how to cut them and all that stuff. So if you've been watching our Slaburday Saturday videos, what we really like to do is get as much figure as possible in each slab and any log with a crotch. And what a crotch is where you got your main log that splits off into 2 branches. Those are always going to typically be highly figured, and the most figured spot is going to be right here. You can kind of see underneath the bark how it gnarls up right here. So when the crotch comes together, you're actually going to have kind of like a feathering effect going down a few foot. So you always want to try to cut your crotch logs in a flat orientation like this. Like if you went to cut from the top way down this way, it would waste it. It wouldn't get that figure. So you want the crotch facing up, and we're gonna plain slice across this front. And something else to look for on crotch logs, often trees like to split, and they'll have a split run all the way down it. This one's nice and solid. And you can also check, I'll show you on the butt end, how this log, following that crotch, doesn't have, now there is a bit of a split this way, but that's perpendicular, but we don't have a split running all the way down that crotch. So you know it's gonna be a nice solid piece. So first thing I'm gonna do, chainsaw the edge to make it fit in the sawmill, and then we're gonna get it cut up.
So what's this one?
Maple.
Maple, that's
Yep.
right.
Yeah, this is silver maple. So it's a softer species of maple, but still real beautiful. It's like probably one of the most common trees you're gonna see driving around through Omaha and most cities in the Midwest, because they grow so fast. They have nice big cover, so it's very abundant, resourceful tree, makes good lumber, dries very easily, good to work with. Okay, so we got it trimmed up. I cut minimal amount off of each side of this crotch, so we still have a nice wide log. We're still gonna have the crotch figures, so next thing we get on the sawmill, slice it into 2.5 inch thick pieces.
Come on now.
We add a gas. This has plenty of gas in it. Oh. When you are sawmilling logs, especially with crotch figure, the natural like intertwined grain and everything, it really likes to make blades wander. So you gotta really use something super sharp. These are resharpened blades, but this one's already was kind of dull. It's pushing it, but I seen it was starting to bow and wave because the crotch is pulling around. So rather than wasting good slabs, we're gonna switch up into a sharp blade, but always use your sharpest blades when you're cutting crotch figured logs. like the, well, three. We got three really good heart center cuts. And so that's what I'm talking about, that crotch figure. Every time with every tree, you're gonna kind of have like that ribbon, almost like braids, you know? That's what it about looks like, a deep braid. This is actually bark. It's called a bark inclusion. Happens quite often on crotch pieces. It's where the two trees are, this is actually still the exterior of the tree, that's bark. So after kiln drying, you peel that out, fill it with epoxy, bow tie, something like that. But yeah, all the pieces really have that real beautiful crotch going on right there. And what I really like about the maple is it just has a nice white sapwood, and just a nice creamy heartwood, beautiful stuff. So like these could work for slabs, coffee tables. Two of them could be book matched for a dining room table, whatever. But these, we'll let them air dry a little bit. We got a whole load of maple that we're gonna put in our iDry vacuum kiln probably next week, because I'm finishing up a load right now. So this is gonna be our first time doing a full load of maple, which from what I understand, maple is one of the easiest woods to dry in the iDry. So we're real excited to try that out and see how quick we can get this dry, how quick and how well. So this is complete. Our whole cut of maple is complete. And stay tuned, we're gonna make another YouTube video on from start to finish of drying this load in our iDry vacuum kiln.